Breaker 19, this is a rubber duck. You got a copy on me, Big Ben, come on? Yeah, 10-4.
On the 6th of June in a Kenworth pulling logs.
Oh, look here. What have we? It's a corpse. Oh, dang. There's stuff on it. Oh, God. These look like statistics terms. Oh, what does it say on the bottom? Figure it out if you want to find the killer. Oh, God, I guess it's a murder. And since I'm a detective, I gotta solve it. Alright, let's learn these statistics terms before I go on my quest. A lurking variable is a variable which can affect correlation or causation. A confounding variable is a variable that affects both the x and y, which is the first variable and the second variable, and are due to the presence and change of working variables. Got it? Causation. This is the happening where the happening of x necessitates the happening of y. So if I eat, I'm going to use the bathroom. Common response. Oh, this is confusing. This is where a third variable z affects both variables x and y. My God, that's too much. Correlation. This is where there's a relationship between the two variables, but one does not necessitate the other. I'm an expert. Let's do this. Okay. So the first problem reads as follows. A policeman wants to know if the shoe size of perps affects the running speed. His friend believes that it is the leg length that is the variable in question. Identify the variables and their designs. Alright, so this is how it works. We have to draw a diagram. So what's in question is running speed. He thinks it's shoe size, but his friend thinks it's leg length. Well, leg length here would be a confounding variable. Leg length has little to no impact on shoe size. It can, but for the sake of this example, we don't know if there's any established proof of it. So we're going to say leg length is a confounding variable. Shoe size can affect running speed, but it's more likely leg length because the longer the leg, the longer the stride. Oh, it's telling me where to go next. Gotta go to the ladder. All right, let's go, doggy. Okay. Scientists believe that genetics cause cancer. Identify a possible lurking variable. Well, in this case, a lurking variable would be something that affects, or something that causes cancer that isn't genetics. So a good lurking variable in this case would be smoking. Because as we know, smoking causes cancer. So don't do drugs or drink alcohol, especially on prom, although I know all of you will. So, all right. So here we have scientists believing that genetics causes cancer. So genetics is the X that we need to worry about. The Y, obviously, is cancer. Now, we know genetics does sometimes cause cancer, but we're looking for another lurking variable that could possibly explain this, and that is smoking. Now, as many Americans try to say, smoking and obesity are not genetic things, all right? You are not genetically obese, and you do not genetically smoke. So smoking is a lurking variable that causes cancer, which is not an acquired trait. So smoking here is the Z, or the lurking variable. All right, on to the next one. God damn, the dog's biting. The pen's broken. All right, whatever. Let's go. Look at those hops. All right. A tennis player believes his swing strength on his serve has a certain concentration. So has a certain correlation with the return percentage of his opponents. His coach thinks that the magnitude of his grunt could affect both categories of the variables. Okay. So we have to categorize the variables. So here we need to draw our three circles again because there are three variables. We want to see how they're related. Now, the swing strength is the first one because that's what he believed. Then the return percentage of his opponents is the Y, because that is what happens. So he's saying that the stronger he swings, the less the opponent will return. Now the coach is saying the louder he grunts, the more, the less the opponent will be able to return. So we don't know if swing strength has anything to do with the return because the accuracy could go down. We have no idea. But the grunt affects the swing strength because when you grunt, your adrenaline goes up, and 9 times out of 10 you hit harder. And it also affects the return because a lot of tennis players have said that the grunt is very distracting, and it makes it harder for them to get the ball back. So here, the grunt is a common response lurking variable because it affects both the explanatory and response variables of the original problem. All right, on to the next problem. Oh, damn, I lost my gun. All right, at least I got my gun. All right, so, one moment. Confucius says, taking selfies lowers grades. That's an actual quote. We went and asked him. What say you? All right, so again, we want to go back to the diagram because that makes everything a lot easier. So taking selfies, stupid. Is there a correlation between the two? Now, I do agree that taking selfies has a correlation with lower grade, but that is not because of the selfies themselves. Taking selfies takes up time and effort. Now, the lack of time and effort gives you less time to study. So lack of time is the real thing that causes lower grades. All right, so here, lack of time is a confounding variable, and the selfies is a byproduct of the lack of time, rather cause of the lack of time. All right, last couple. All right.
Sure.
Gandhi says pushing a rock down a hill makes it roll. What does he mean? So we want to go back again to our diagram. Now, pushing the rock makes it roll. Now, this, I think, what he's trying to say is a causation. There is no correlation between the pushing and the rolling. Because if there is a hill, all you have to do is tap a rock. It doesn't matter how hard you push it. It'll always roll down the hill. So in this scenario, we have a clear example of causation rather than correlation. Now, if we wanted a correlation example, we could change this to say, pushing a rock harder down a hill makes it roll faster. Because the amount that you push correlates directly with the speed of the rock. The harder you push, the faster it goes. The slower you push, rock will not roll as fast. All right. Last example. All right. Okay. So according to Gucci Mane, very prophetic guy, by the way, he says, if you ain't got no sauce, then you're lost. But you can also get lost in the sauce. So Gucci Mane here is saying that if you don't have any sauce, you're going to be lost. So lack of sauce, and then being lost. Now, we're trying to figure out if the lack of sauce causes one to be lost. And as we all know, as any human who is not on drugs knows, lack of sauce has nothing to do with being lost. It has nothing to do with geographical knowledge. So lack of sauce has nothing to do with it. It's actually more of geographical acumen, which affects whether or not you're going to be lost. So the lack of sauce is not related. The geographic acumen is a confounding variable. Ha! I solved the problem. The killer should be anywhere around here.
Copy on me, Big Ben, come on. Oh, yeah, 10-4, Big Ben, for sure, for sure. By golly,